Only 1 year left. Wait, are you talking about me? Yes, I recommend starting treatment immediately. This is unbelievable. It felt like a bolt from the blue. In a life where I had never experienced a major illness, a huge pitfall had been discovered. My relationship with my husband was also falling apart, as he continued to betray me. The anxiety in my heart was reaching its limit, and tears welled up uncontrollably. Was I really going to face the end alone? Without anyone by my side to comfort me, was I going to face this alone? And then, 6 agonizing months later, I had come to terms with the grim reality. A glimmer of hope appeared for me, someone who had been battling despair. My name is Scarlett, a 28 years old, working as a designer at an advertising agency. I also juggle the responsibilities of a housewife. I had been married to Callum, my husband, for 2 years. He was a client from my workplace. We discovered we had common interests by chance, leading to us staying in touch privately. After a year of dating, he proposed to me. I had always dreamed of building a family, so I gladly accepted his proposal. I want to be your wife too. I want us to be together forever. Me too, Scout. Let's make sure we're always happy together. Yes. And so, with our vows of love, we got married. However, even though we were only in our 2nd year of marriage, our relationship as a couple was far from ideal. It all started about 6 months ago, I suppose. It was all triggered by a sudden visit from my younger sister, Nadia. She had always been the type who couldn't stand not being the center of attention. She had been doted on by our parents and relatives since she was a child, which had allowed her to grow up as a spoiled child. Because of this, even when she entered middle school and high school, she would throw tantrums when things didn't go her way, and she'd spew insults at those around her. Her promiscuity had also become more pronounced, and she had undergone 2 abortions. As expected, even our parents couldn't tolerate this, and there was a time when they joined me in giving her a stern talking to. Hey, Nadia. If you keep living like this, you'll lose your mind someday, I said, trying to reason with her. In response, she casually mocked me, saying, "Huh? Seriously? Are you trying to act like a big sister or something? That's not what I mean. I'm just worried. If something were to happen to you, before it's too late." You're hilarious. Can you not be so annoying? It's none of your business. She laughed, making fun of my concern. With a mocking laugh and heartless words, she seemed unfazed. Our parents couldn't tolerate this anymore and took turns raising their voices. Hey, Nadia. What's with that attitude? He is right. Your sister is genuinely worried about you. Huh? I never asked for your concern, seriously. You. That's no way to talk, is it? That's right. It's too late to be concerned after something happens, isn't it? Please, take better care of yourself. Shut up. It's my life. You have no right to tell me what to do. You're just crappy parents. Shut your mouth and keep quiet. What? Your attitude isn't something acceptable. This is terrible. Why would you say such things? The argument continued, and eventually Nadia left the house. She probably moved from one man's place to another at the time. I haven't seen her since then, and after marrying Callum, I also left my parents' home. My first encounter with her in several years took place in the apartment where I lived with Callum. I'm not sure how she found out, but she suddenly paid us a visit about a year after we got married. It's been a while, big sis, she said. Nadia. Why are you here? I asked. Anyway, let me in. It's raining outside. I can't. My husband is here. Huh? Your little sister has nowhere to go, and is in a bind. It's fine, isn't it, for just a little while? She forced her way in, and made herself comfortable in the living room. After a while, my husband came out of the shower, and raised his voice in surprise. Who's this? Sorry, Callum. This is my little sister. Your sister? I thought she left home. She said she had nowhere to go, and suddenly came over earlier. Can we let her stay for just one night? Why not just let her stay until she's settled? It's cold this time of year, right? At that moment, I realized it. He blushed slightly, looking at Nadia. And in response, she was also gazing at Callum with a full smile. It was as if I didn't exist, and they had their own world. For about a month after that, Nadia continued to live with us. She ate as if it were a matter of course, and used our things without asking. Since she was unemployed, she would ask me for pocket money, and when I refused, she would start pestering Callum. Hey, Callum, can you lend me a little money? I'll give it to you, as an allowance, he said with a chuckle. Really? Is that okay? Well, you are my sister-in-law. If you ever have any problems, feel free to talk to me. Thank you. I love you, Callum. In front of my eyes, she boldly embraced Callum. She glanced briefly in my direction, and smirked triumphantly. Unable to bear this any longer, I reluctantly rented a monthly apartment for her, and practically forced her to leave. Callum and Nadia both blamed me, and called me a heartless person, but I couldn't afford to be bothered by such things. If we stayed together any longer, it would lead to the worst possible outcome. Before it's too late, I had to take action, or I'd surely regret it someday. My own heart had been sounding that warning. My instincts were telling me so. I did manage to make Nadia leave, but as a result, the relationship between Callum and me deteriorated. Lately, we hardly talked, and our quality time together was almost non-existent. Will this stifling marriage continue like this? Just as these worries began to creep in, an extremely cruel turn of events struck me. Only 1 year left. Wait, are you talking about me? Yes. I recommend starting treatment right away. This is unbelievable. It is possible that this will be cured. It's advisable to discuss it with your family, and begin treatment as soon as possible. Okay. Lately, I hadn't been feeling well, so I visited a clinic on a whim, and was sent to a bigger hospital where they found advanced stage cancer. They told me I had only 1 year left, if I didn't begin treatment. It can't be true. I have cancer? I've been healthy all my life, never had a serious illness. I immediately called Callum, to inform him about this situation. After several attempts, he reluctantly answered. What is it? Hey, you're done with work, right? I have something important to tell you. Can you come home? No way. I'm working overtime today. Again. Please, it's really important. You're being persistent. I told you it's not possible. Even if you say it's important, it's probably not a big deal. Not a big deal. I've been diagnosed with cancer. They say I have only 1 year left. Huh? 1 year. At this, he finally reacted, probably shocked by the words, 1 year left. Did he genuinely care? My hope was short-lived. He burst into laughter, and he said words that seemed unbelievable. Hey, come on, it's a joke, right? Suddenly being told you have only a year to live? How unlucky can you get? What? Wait, Callum. Why are you laughing? Do you have any idea how I feel right now? Well, it's unfortunate, but there's no other way to put it. Getting cancer in your early 30s. Your past actions must have been pretty bad, thought. Huh? Who am I talking to right now? Is this really the husband I once loved? The one who was always kind and said, "I love you" to me, that Callum? It felt like I was talking to a different person entirely. In fact, he seemed to find my life expectancy diagnosis amusing. A few hours later, I received a call from Nadia. "Hello," I weakly answered, and she excitedly said, "Hey, Scout. I heard you have 1 year left because of cancer." Huh? How would you? How? I just overheard it when I was sitting next to him. Huh? I mean, you just talked to Callum, right? I was right there, listening to the conversation. What? Why are you two together? Honestly, I knew the answer to that question without even asking it. But I just couldn't bring myself to acknowledge the fact that Nadia had stolen my husband. The reality was far more cruel than I had imagined. Scout, you didn't even realize? Since you kicked me out of the house, I've been dating him the whole time. Huh? So, this has been going on for a while? What do you think? Actually, it's been since we started living together. We even did it in the bedroom, when you weren't home. Stop it. How can you be so casual about this? It's so funny. I've always wanted to get back at you. Back when you lectured me with such authority, it really pissed me off. Even so, this is just... I'll tell you, I'm not the one at fault here. You know, with cheating, the one who gets stolen away is the guilty party. It's the same with illnesses. The one who gets sick is to blame. Feeling my breath grow heavy, I immediately hung up the phone. If I continued talking to her, I felt like I would lose control of my anger. After ending the call, I immediately opened Callum's laptop and searched for evidence of his affair. To my surprise, messages and photos of Nadia were saved on this laptop, as if he had no intention of hiding them. In their exchanges, they treated me as an inconvenience, saying things like, "I want to get married soon, and I'll divorce her, I'll do it well." That was the moment when the love I had desperately clung to for Callum instantly faded away. What had I been so afraid of? Living with a man who could trample on people's feelings and cheat, there was no way I could be happy. I had finally realized this. That's right, what I needed to do now was not to deal with those two. What mattered most was to face my illness and focus on my treatment. Revenge on them could wait for another time. However, now that I had found evidence of the affair, there was no reason not to divorce. I transferred evidence from Callum's laptop to my smartphone and visited a lawyer's office the next day. I asked the lawyer to handle the divorce proceedings and alimony claim, while starting my treatment at the hospital simultaneously. With the lawyer present, when I broached the topic of divorce, Callum responded nonchalantly, "Divorce? That's a wish come true. I've been wanting to split from you too. Is it because you want to marry Nadia?" I asked. Of course, right? Besides, having a wife with 1 year to live is worthless. I'm disappointed I won't get the insurance money, but oh well, it's not a big issue. I can't believe it, you thought that way about me. Choosing divorce was the right decision. And so, I claimed alimony from my husband and sister, and our divorce was finalized. Later, Callum paid Nadia's share of the alimony, and our relationship came to an end. After the divorce, I focused on my treatment for a year, and had surgery when the tumor had shrunk. Thanks to that, the tumor was cleanly removed, and although not completely cured, I had recovered to the point where I could return to my previous life. If the cancer doesn't recur for 5 years, the survival rate apparently goes up significantly. On this day, I was at the hospital for a routine checkup. Then, from behind, I heard a voice calling my name, "Scarlett?" I turned around, and there stood my ex-husband, Callum. "Long time no see. What's up?" I asked. Glad I met you here. I've tried calling you multiple times. Why haven't you been answering your phone? He said. Why? Well, I've already deleted your contact information. That's so cold. Well, anyways. You don't have much time left, right? What do you mean? I mean, your remaining time. My wife, Nadia, is also ill. So, I want you to be a donor for her. His unexpected statement momentarily left me stunned. What is he talking about? I need to be Nadia's donor? After finally getting back to my normal life, why should I sacrifice my life for them? Anger welled up slowly, and my body began to shake. Nevertheless, I managed to keep my composure and asked him, "Is it true that Nadia is sick?" "Yeah, she has been given a terminal diagnosis." "She won't tell me the details." "Something about her organs being affected. A sarcoma, I think. She might lose sensation in her limbs." "Sarcoma? It's like a hard lump. Given that her organs are affected, she needs a donor. There might be a rejection reaction with a complete stranger, right? That's why you're the most suitable." "Why me?" "Huh? You're probably going to die soon, right? I paid the alimony to you, so at least be useful to us for one last time." He seemed to have some mental issues, as he shouted with a worn-out expression. His appearance was so absurd that I couldn't help but burst into laughter. "Ha! You really don't know anything, do you?" "Huh? What?" "I'm almost completely cured of cancer." Upon hearing that, he widened his eyes in surprise. It's no wonder. At the time of our divorce, I had a 1-year life expectancy. I'm going to live my life from now on. That's why I can't be a donor for Nadia. What? Wait. Your sister has been given a terminal diagnosis. Even so, you're not going to do anything as her sister? Why would I have to harm my own body for the sake of those two treacherous jerks? Wait. Callum stared at me, as if he was about to lunge at me any moment. I took this opportunity to inform him of a certain fact. You seem like you don't know, so I'll tell you. The reason Nadia is in this situation is entirely because of her past actions. Past actions? What did she do? You really don't know, huh? She had relationships with dozens of men, and had 2 abortions. As a result, she got sick, and had to go to the hospital several times. You mean, it's a sexual disease? Well, at that time, I forcefully took her to the hospital. But she probably let all sorts of diseases run wild afterward, so that's likely why it turned out like this. Too bad. Is Nadia really such a filthy woman? She might have been a cute little sister of mine, and a second wife to you. But deep down, she's always been that kind of woman. I bet she's still involved with other men, other than you. He blatantly lost his composure, clutched his head, and collapsed on the spot. In a small voice, he muttered, "Please help me." Without any mercy, I retorted, "Help me? How can you even say that to me? Have you forgotten what you did? You cheated on me, betrayed me, and abandoned your terminally ill wife. Do you understand how cruel that is? I'm sorry. I apologize, so please forgive me." "I'll never forgive you. Neither you nor Nadia will be forgiven. You both brought this on yourselves by belittling people, and only thinking about your desires. No matter what happens, I won't help you. You both deserve this, you scum." Leaving him behind, sobbing uncontrollably, I walked away from the hospital. It was finally the moment I had sought for revenge against them. Afterward, Nadia lost sensation in her limbs and became unable to move freely. She has been in and out of the hospital, and I heard she is bedridden both at the hospital and at home. Finding a donor has proven difficult, and if this continues, the worst-case scenario is anticipated. Callum, in order to care for Nadia, switched to reduced working hours at his job, and has increased the number of unexcused absences lately. He's facing criticism from his superiors and colleagues, and his position at work is precarious. Furthermore, he has no savings left, due to the alimony he had to pay. Currently, he's working multiple part-time night jobs during his free time, and he's also in a miserable state. It's truly a case of reaping what he sowed. As for me, I recently returned to my job that I had taken a leave of absence from work during my treatment. I've now rented a slightly more expensive apartment near my workplace, and am able to spend my days in a better environment. When I received my terminal diagnosis and discovered my ex-husband's affair, I felt utterly hopeless about life. But by confronting those challenges, I've become the person I am today. I will continue to believe in my own strength and work diligently for a better life.